My girlfriend lied about her and another guy. How do I react? I've been with my girlfriend for 6 months. She's 20 and I'm 21. We went to one of her friend's parties and I knew that there would be a couple guys there that she'd had something with before. When the night was over, I gave her a name and asked if they'd had a thing, as I may have noticed some tension. She immediately said no. 2 months later I learned that was a lie, and that they did have something in the past. How do I do act to this lie? Pass on people that happily lie to you at the start of relationships. It's not a one-off. I never continue to date someone new when I find out they started the relationship with lying. It doesn't bode well for the future. Only 4 months and she was lying already? Dude, no. We all have a past. No reason to lie about it. One of her past exes will take her back. You get a fresh start for yourself. Back to the streets for her. No trust here, brother. Move on. There's no issue with her having something with the guy in the past. You were not together then. The problem, and a big one, is that she lied to you about that so easily. Don't waste your time with a liar. Move on. My wife is threatening to report false claims to the police about me. Verbal argument escalated to her saying she will be calling the cops and say I hit her. She has said this few times now. She claims she is suicidal as well. Maybe she is. I've seen her try to cut herself and punch walls to the point I had to hold her hands for 10 minutes. I live in constant fear lately that she will hurt herself and call police and say I hit her. I have never hit her. I feel trapped and scared. She is getting her green card from me. She was tourist in USA before I married her, and I think she's trying to use some spousal abuse program to get your American citizenship. I'm literally afraid to go home. What to do? Use your phone's camera. Protect yourself and get evidence. Get out of this situation. Get out. Get away from her before you end up in trouble. You need to get voice recordings of this in case she does file a false police report. Then you need to break up with, divorce her and probably get a restraining order, using the recordings as evidence. My neighbor just had something similar happen to him last week. Him and his wife got into a verbal argument. She calls the cops and they bring him to jail. They didn't even talk to him. He is out now but can't get into his house because she changed the locks and has a protective order against him. If I was you, I would run and don't look back. Good luck. Record her. Report her to immigration. Let them know what she's doing and what your suspicions are. Or go to the police yourself? But definitely record her. Buy some hidden motion sensing cameras that can also pick up sounds. Strategically place them in various rooms of the house. Not the bathroom or areas where she and you change. This way next time she threatens you, you have video and audio of what took place. It's been a year and I can't forgive my husband for betraying my trust. Me, F, 30, and my husband, M, 33, got married last year. Before that, we dated for 3 years. We broke up at some point and I traveled abroad to pursue graduate studies. We got back together while I was abroad, dated for a year and decided to get married last year. So I traveled back home for the wedding. We had our court registry wedding and at night, while he was sleeping, I checked his phone. Why? Because for a while, I could sense that something was off. And although I asked him about it, he said nothing was going on. Plus, we had agreed previously that we had no qualms with either of us going through the other's phone. As I went through his phone, my world came crashing down and I haven't been the same ever since. I saw chats with other girls where he was practically soliciting them for sex, complimenting his ex on her body, buying her gifts. Another ex he was chatting with, they were apparently spending the night in each other's houses and he sent her messages telling her that he missed the smell of her fragrance on his pillow, and that he was craving cuddles. He insists that they were just friends and that nothing happened. But if she's just a friend, why didn't he ever mention her to me? He struggles with depression and he said she does too, and when they both feel low, they offer to spend time with the other. But I can't get round the fact that she's his ex and he didn't tell me about her. To add to this, I also saw conversations with his guy friends where he told them that he felt that he would be happier with 2 other girls he met but that it's difficult to tell because he never dated them. That once you get to know someone, the attraction you feel for them reduces. Essentially saying that he's not as attracted to me as he is to them. And that if he had known that those other girls liked him, he would have given it a try before things got serious with us. His friends advised him to focus on our relationship as we had both invested a lot in each other and not to let the other girls distract him. He also told his friend about fears I had, which I told him in confidence. I brought up everything I read with him and he apologized, explained his actions. The chats where he was soliciting for sex, he said the girl he was chatting with misunderstood him. Concerning his complimenting one ex on her body, he explained that they were just friends and that he was just loose with his words. And like I mentioned concerning the ex who slept over in his house, which was essentially a one-bed, no living room, he said they were just friends. We had a bigger ceremony after our court wedding, and I noticed he had invited her to the ceremony. So I asked him to disinvite her, which he said he did, but on the day, while he was showing me something on his phone, she sent a message saying that she was so glad to see him happy, meaning that she either came to the wedding against my wishes or that he never disinvited her. Concerning his statements to his friends that he thought he would be happier with 2 other people, he said that he's someone who likes to think and rethink things even up until the last minute, and I've seen this play out in other areas of our lives, and that's what it was. That it didn't mean that he settled for me and that he's sure that he made the best decision by marrying me. There is more to the story as a lot has happened after all this, but I'll stop here. I can't get over the feeling that I was betrayed. I got married to him thinking that we were both marrying the love of our lives. I mean, this was someone who sent me a rather long WhatsApp message begging me to give our relationship another try when we broke up for some time. For me, all his actions count as infidelity, but he doesn't see it that way. He keeps saying that I should be over it by now and tries to reassure me that he loves me and didn't settle for me. I can't bring myself to believe him and to also deal with his flirting with his exes. I've tried over the past year to forgive and move on, but it's not working. He continues to do certain things that raise my suspicion of him. For example, I traveled back abroad to continue with school, and when I came back, I found out that he was sending money frequently to a girl he met on LinkedIn who he claims is his mentee. She calls and texts him every day, calls him baby and other words. And he was actually deleting his conversations with her. When I brought it up, he said I was unnecessarily jealous and that he was deleting messages because he knows that I would be upset if I saw them. But I don't think I am unnecessarily jealous. I believe there are boundaries you have to draw with the opposite sex once you are in a committed relationship. But his belief is, as long as he isn't having sex with them, everything goes. I think I've gotten to the point where I think I'll be happier divorced than continuing to struggle to hold our marriage together. But I wonder if he's right and I'm overreacting. I would appreciate your take on this. Thanks. Oof. Get that divorce, honey. He's been lying, manipulating, gaslighting, and outright cheating on you for a long time. It doesn't matter what he says to you, it matters what he does to you. He absolutely has full-blown cheated on you and likely still is. He's just not admitting it. You're not overreacting. You're not being jealous. You're being disrespected and cheated on. Get out. Just get out. Sounds like he married you for an easy life. Woman at home to cook and clean while he goes fucking anything that moves. He's a boss basically. Pathetic excuses, oh I'm so depressed I've just got to sleep round my ex's house. Yeah righto. He's playing you. The dude is a cheater and a liar. The depression excuse is total bullshit and he's gaslighting you to make you doubt yourself. I also saw conversations with his guy friends where he told them that he felt that he would be happier with 2 other girls he met but that it's difficult to tell because he never dated them. This guy is such a clown. He felt he would be happier with 2 other girls that he's never even dated? That's complete fantasy. He would be happier dating a figment of his own imagination, not a real person. You're not overreacting at all. Contact a lawyer or solicitor or whatever you call them, today. Husband partying like a rock star. Not sure what to do and I feel like I've bothered my family so much already that this is the only place I can come to seek some advice. I'm a newlywed and my husband loves going out, mostly without me. We have a 1-year-old daughter together and he has 3 older kids. This started becoming a problem at the beginning of the summer. We were introduced to this rooftop bar we both love and he started going there after work. He would call last minute without giving me any time to get ready or secure childcare and ask if I wanted to go with him. I definitely tried to make it a few times but sometimes I just became so overwhelmed by chores and getting ready and making sure the baby was okay that at times I opted out because I couldn't abandon my baby with older SD, 15. Who seemed like she barely wanted to care for her. He would never call his own daughter to ask her to watch the baby. So it just started becoming the norm that he would hit up this bar. One night he met up with his boys there and kept promising he was on his way home. Hours went by that night until he finally strolled in at 3 a.m. I was livid. I explained to him that if I did this to him I would probably be locked out of our home and forced to sleep on the street, a vulnerability I hate and something my ex would do to me. The next week we agreed to meet at a steakhouse. Again, I was running late because baby, dinner, normal adult responsibilities. When I finally made it down and parked the car, he texted me asking how much further I was away, saying he wanted to meet at another place. I texted him stating I was literally walking there and kind of had to go back and forth to convince him to wait for me. When I finally made it, he was talking to another woman and her friends at the bar who he introduced me to, but something just felt gross about the whole situation. There is no way I would be entertaining a row of men while I'm waiting on my husband to join me. They had been alternating buying each other drinks. The girl then stands up to leave, and before I can blink he stands up, grabs her hand and says, "You're just going to leave without saying goodbye?" I was not only utterly appalled but heartbroken in that moment, although I didn't let on. I felt that was very flirtatious. This woman was probably trying to show respect for me by leaving unnoticed, but my husband needed her goodbye. I spoke to him about this and he immediately apologized, but then diminished the issue later on, saying it's ridiculous that if he's networking, that he wouldn't be allowed to say bye to someone. It's not that he's not allowed, he was just so demanding of her attention in a flirtatious way. We ended up leaving shortly after to go to the other place he was dying to make it to. He could barely stay awake, which is something I've come to expect when we get any time together. He left me sitting there by myself while he went to the car to go sleep. Fast forward to last week. An acquaintance I met invited me out to her birthday. I mentioned it to him and he sounded completely disinterested and asked if there would only be women there, if so he preferred not to go. We didn't really get to follow up, but his older son was supposed to stay with the baby. His son tried to cancel on me and he requested that I force him to come back, which he did. So again I was running late, and instead of offering help he mentioned he was already at a bar. Well, this acquaintance mentioned he was there with his ex, who he is still friends with. She asked me if I knew, which I should have said yes I knew. But I am just such a bad liar that I said no, I had no idea. I was immediately annoyed. I'm here stressed out getting ready, my daughter driving me crazy, and he's out enjoying life. Come to find out that she actually met him at his office and they went to another bar first before they Ubered together to come to where we were currently. He kept saying your energy is so off. But for me it's just one thing after the next. That Sunday I needed to use his computer. When I open it, a message from his ex pops up with a video showing him feeding her IDK some cracker dish and looking at her all sultry. I was infuriated. At this point it's just embarrassing. There are no boundaries, no respect, no expectations, even as a newlywed. When I text him about it his response was, "Oh please." I would go into the long story about last night and today, but I've already written pretty long paragraphs. But in a nutshell, he got a call with plans for last night which he said he didn't want to attend. As I'm elbow deep in dishes, mopping and bathing baby, he's cutting his hair. He gets dressed and says, "Hey, I think I'm gonna make that run. I don't like the last-minute plans and it's Sunday." He said he felt bad because the guy invited him out Friday but he didn't make it. The day I sat in the hospital by myself because our daughter had a 104 fever. Now he's out again tonight. He left without saying a word and texted me BRB 2 hours ago. I am at my wit's end and it's only been 4 months. I live very far away from family and I don't have anyone to rely on or even talk to. Could someone please give some advice? So he married you for free childcare and to be a bangmaid, huh? Take your baby and go back to your family. Pack your stuff. Take your daughter and go that long distance to your family, then get a divorce lawyer and start over without him. I hate when relationship _advice goes straight to break up, divorce, etc. But holy fucking dooly, this is one of those times. This is the opposite of how you treat your wife, the mother of your child, Ren. So many red flags. You need to pack up your car and go back to your family's place. He is a walking red flag and a bad father to all his kids. This is not all right. I'm gonna guess he felt obligated to marry you because of the baby. He is not a partner. He is a teenager. Leave the situation and let him figure shit out himself. If he can't be a husband and a father, you shouldn't stay. He's not even pretending to be interested in you. He already got you baby trapped, isolated from support and friends and wed to him in unholy matrimony, so now he can do whatever he wants. He believes you're sticking around. Do not stick around. Don't even tell him you're leaving. Next time he's at a bar, pack and leave. Once you're on the road safely traveling home to your support network, text him. Tell him you've left his kids at home alone and he will need to return to take care of them. Then tell him you're done and disappear from his life. He's a deadbeat dad. Your baby is not missing out on anything. The best gift you can give yourself is the opportunity to raise that baby away from the influence of this narcissistic piece of trash. Yeah. Normally I don't like when everyone immediately jumps to divorce on Reddit, but I'm going to say, get a lawyer and file for divorce. This man does not respect you, nor your family he's created with you. He is, at the very least, entertaining other women for attention, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's crossing further boundaries as well. If he has older kids, I'm guessing this man is not 20 years old. This is a huge red flag. The hospital with your daughter and a 104 fever and he's nowhere to be found? Time to leave.